All right. So welcome everyone to this auspicious day, starting it with the practice that I really invite you to take as a moving meditation. We'll be doing some kind of opening of the body and just opening of ourselves, and then we will kind of get into a rhythm of Surya Namaskar and Chandra Namaskar, which are sun and moon salutations, where we honor the energies of these celestial bodies, the sun representing kind of warmth and activation. It's often associated with the soul, the moon honoring our softer sides, that which is nurturing and calming and restful. And it's often associated with the emotions. And the earth is associated with more the physical body. So we'll be honoring all aspects of ourselves. Just come, and as you take your comfortable seat, you might rock around a little bit, feeling the earth underneath you. And you might even just sway your head side to side a little bit, and your shoulders. Roll your shoulders to the ears and then back down. Taking this time always as we begin our practice, let your shoulder blades just slide down the back, to notice what we bring to the mat, no matter what's going on around us. So if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, let the eyes float close. And if you're able to breathe in and out through the nose, let your mouth close. If you prefer to keep the eyes open, that's perfectly fine. If you are a little bit congested today and need to breathe in and out through the mouth, then open the mouth just a little bit, like you're breathing in and out through a straw. Welcoming yourself to this morning, to this practice of this day, which is filled with some anticipation, right? So you might notice all that you carry right now. Notice all that you carry right now, what's going on in the physical body. There may be some sensations. What's on your mind as you start this day? What emotions are at play? What's the vibe? What's the energy? Take it all in. Let it all be here. I just want to read to you some words from the Radiance Sutras, which is the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, just a beautiful ancient text. I really invite you to let these words float over you and take them into the practice. There is a current of love energy that flows between earth below and sun above. The central channel of your spine is the riverbed. The streaming is as delicate and powerful as the tingling touch of lovers. Entering here, radiance arches between above and below, your whole attention resting in the subtle, vibrating in the center of the spinal column, tracing the current between earth and sun, become magnetism relating to all worlds. You might feel the breath flow from the tip of the tailbone up to the crown of the head, kind of between earth and sky and back down. And as we consider the eclipse that we'll be experiencing today, this representation of light and shadow and the interplay between light and darkness. Both are aspects that we carry, right? So sometimes in the practice and in this day, a day like this, you might really tune in to the lightness that you are and the darkness that you carry as well, and let both be here and experience both without resistance, without trying to change anything. Invite it all in. And then, as we might even right now visualize how we anticipate experiencing the eclipse, seeing the brightness of the sun, and then noticing as in your mind's eye the moon crosses that path and obscures the sun with just that border of light. And then the darkness is there. And then the moon moves, just like the cycles of darkness and light in our lives, right? The moon moves off and the light returns, and maybe there's a sense of renewal or refreshing. Just visualize that. At the end of our practice, we'll do a little more meditation, but for now, on your inhalation, let the arms float up. Root your sitting bones down, let the arms lift up, palms turn towards each other, hands come together. Inhale fully, fill the body with the breath. And on your exhale, bring the hands into your heart. And do that 2 more times. Reach the arms around, just gather up the energy, the strength, whatever it is that you need, gather it up. Draw your hands into your heart. Wrap the arms down, reach up, stretch out, lift up, root down. Hands come into your heart. And if there is anything that you want to affirm as an intention for yourself today, then you can do that. Shoulders down. A word or a phrase to guide you through, to help you understand what's important to you right now, as you honor all aspects of yourself and this greater energy that is always around us that sometimes we ignore because we get so involved in our own little things. Let today be a day to experience the vastness, the spaciousness, the wonder, all of it, and anything else that you choose to affirm. And then let's vibrate the sound of Om, but I want to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to give you a choice to either vibrate the sound of Om aloud, feeling that vibration, or vibrate the sound of Om internally, which is what I'm going to do, because I know it doesn't always sound so good, that vibration of the Om on this recording in the class and through this microphone. So we're going to inhale together, and then you might, at home, vibrate the sound of Om as loud or as soft as you'd like, or just imagine yourself, feel that vibration internally, which can also be quite powerful. And we'll vibrate 3 times. Inhale deeply. Let the arms float down and reach them up and over your head again. And on your exhale, reach the right arm over to the right, and the left arm comes over your head. Root your left sitting bone down, lift your heart, draw your shoulders away, coming into this crescent shape, right? This shape we associate with the moon energy. And just think about the moon with its soft energy and its smaller size than the sun. And this softness can still be so powerful because it's going to obscure the sun today, right? So that interplay of activation and softness. Now turn towards the right, reach your left arm forward and bring the left hand down. Root your left sitting bone down and let the body just melt down towards the right leg, and cross your hands as you come forward and then all the way over to the left. Root your right sitting bone down. Let the head be heavy. Feel the stretch in the side body, and now plant your left arm on the mat and lift your right arm up and over your head. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Let your right sitting bone get even heavier. Shoulders down, look down and look up. And then when you're ready, press your left hand into the mat. Come to the center. Reach your hands behind you. So we open the heart to whatever arises, whatever comes today. Draw the clasped hands down behind you. Look up. And just let out any sound, maybe an H-A-A, ha sound. Ha. Beautiful. Let the hands come down. Good. And let's just make our way into a tabletop. We'll warm the spine, and then we'll move into our salutations. You can use your blanket to pad your knees if you'd like. You can bring your hands to the mat. You can bring your forearms to the mat. Whatever you'd like to do. Tops of the feet to the mat. Press them down. Inhale here. And on your exhale, drop the tailbone, round the back body, spread the space between the shoulder blades. Good. And then lengthen the tailbone and lift your heart. So go slowly and move the energy from the tip of the tailbone, associated with grounding with the earth, to the crown of the head, associated with all that is around us, that which we're a part of, this collective consciousness. Reach the heart up. Stretch the front of the body. On your exhale, round the back body. And then bring your hips to your heels. Stretch your arms, stretch your fingers, sink down. Elbows bend, heart glides between the thumbs, lift your heart. And then round. So starting to just move these simple movements, kind of rolling them, let's say. Do two more, just like this. One more, just like. Good. Come back to your table. Stretch your fingers. Tuck your toes under. We're going to make our way to a forward fold, and you can do this several ways. You can come into downward facing dog and walk the feet in, or you could come to lift yourself up and stand and then fold, or you could just come right into a fold, bringing the feet and the hands close together. So whatever you're doing, do that. If you're coming through down dog, on your way to your forward fold, pedal the feet a little bit and rock the hips a little bit. And then walk the feet to the hands if you're from down dog, but we'll all join together in this forward fold. So feeling the earth underneath you, spread your feet wide. See if you can broaden the feet, the ball of the big toe, the ball of the pinky toe, the center of the heel, bending your knees enough that the hands come to the mat and the head hangs. Press your feet into the earth and roll yourself up, eyes wide open. Shoulders lift up to the ears and come onto the back. And the heart lifts. We're in Tadasana or mountain pose. Feel yourself, shoulders balanced over hips, hips balanced over heels. Close your eyes if you can. Let yourself rock a little bit, sway a little bit, sensing the earth underneath you, the sky above you. We'll begin the practice with Surya Namaskar, some simple sun salutations, then we'll move into the moon salutations and end with more sun salutations before we meditate a bit, so that we can kind of sense that what we're going to experience today is the sun, then the moon comes in, and then the sun, and we'll just note the energies. And again, inviting ourselves to have this as a moving meditation, honoring the natural forces at play. So step to the top of your mat, reach your arms up and over your head, root down, lift up. Palms come together as you lengthen the tailbone and lift the heart. Just feel the energy in the front of the body, the back of the body. Separate your hands, soften the knees, fold forward. Take your time to feel, and all of this practice, allowing yourself to be in the movement rather than even considering doing the movement. Fingertips to your blocks or the mat, lift up halfway. Feel the belly peel away from the thighs. Fold forward again. Plant your hands with an inhalation. Your next inhale, take your right foot back into a giant lunge. Good. Let your left hip come back a little bit, right hip forward. We're going to move slowly at first. Good. Plant your right knee down. Keep your toes tucked under. Lift the upper body. So starting to wake up, connecting movement and breath always. Exhale brings the hands down. Lift your right knee. Right foot, left foot meets the right. Come to a plank. Any expression of plank is fine. So you can spread the space between the shoulder blades, knees can come down, forearms can come down. Good. Now everyone, drop your knees down to the mat. Untuck your toes, bend your elbows and keep them as close to your ribs as you can as you lower the heart. Roll the shoulders 3 times onto the back. Glide them down. Now heels of the hands pulling back towards the lower body. Lift your heart. Bhujangasana. Cobra. Lower down on your exhale. Tuck your toes. Inhale. Press yourself up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Head hangs between the arms and pedal your feet and rock the hips a little bit. And sigh out a few times. Ah, nice. Let both heels melt down, head hangs. Look between your hands. Take the right foot between the hands. It may take a few steps to get there until you're in a lunge again. Yeah, nice. Hands can be on your blocks. So this is a great place if you have blocks. Use your blocks if you're having a challenge reaching the mat. Lower your left knee. Lift the arms up. Come up. Heart is lifted. Shoulders down. Good. Hands come on either side of the right foot. Lift your left knee. Engage the belly. So connect through your center to bring the left foot to meet the right. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Notice the energy that's here. Press your feet into the mat. Reach the arms up and over your head. Honoring the sun that's there, right? Even if we can't see it. I'm looking out my window right now. It's a little cloudy, but I know the sun is there. Let's do this again. Breath connecting to movement. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Take your right foot back. Lower the right knee. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, lower down. Right knee lifts, left foot meets the right in plank. Let's stay here for 2 breaths. Feeling that activating energy coming in. Knees come down. Untuck your toes. Heart melts down between the thumbs. Elbows hug you. Shoulders come on the back and we lift the heart. You can come to cobra or you can press your feet into the mat to upward facing dog. It's up to you. And then to come back to down dog. In each of these, you can decide. You can lower down, come to tabletop or plank and back to down dog, or you can just come to down dog without even lowering down. Let's take 3 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. And notice how as we move through these very same movements, things start to shift, things start to change. Tuning in, right, this exquisite awareness of each moment of the practice of the day, of all that is within us and all that's around us. Look between your hands. Take your right foot between your hands with as many steps as you need. Lower the left knee. Lift the upper body. Bring your hands down. Lift the left knee. Engage the belly. Left foot floats up to meet the right. Lift up halfway. Fold forward. Press your feet into the mat. Sweep the arms up and over your head. Hands come into the heart. Let's do one, before we come into Moon Salutations, let's do one Surya Namaskar B, which is a little more intense, just to kind of activate a little more. We'll start by drawing the hips back, come to Utkatasana, chair pose. Hips come back and the weight's in your heels. The heart is lifted. Fold forward, lengthen the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. And on your exhale, you'll fold and then plant your hands and take both feet back to plank. You can walk or float them. And then your knees can stay up or come down as you lower to or towards the mat. And then decide how you want to lift the heart. Cobra, up dog. You could even come down to Sphinx. And then coming back to downward facing dog. Head hangs, heels melt. The body's a lot warmer now, right? Look between your hands. Place the right foot between your hands and root your left heel down with the toes pointing out to the left just a little, and we come to Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Good. Now let's stay here for a few breaths and really feel this steadiness. Steadfast. Maybe your fingertips touch, maybe your hands separate. You can decide what feels better. Gently, really gently pull your right hip back a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone, left hip is forward a little bit. Now let's fold again. Bring the hands down, lift your left heel. Right foot meets the left. Plank. Ooh, feel that strength. Knees can stay up or come down as you lower down. Roll the shoulders, lift the heart. Come back to downward facing dog. Heels melt down. Look between the hands. The left foot now comes between the hands. The right heel roots down with the toes gently out. Reach the arms up. Warrior One. Feel this strength in your legs. So this connection to the earth, right? The earth and the body, very connected. And then reaching for the sky, kind of opening up, right? The soul and the sun. the emotions, the mind, and the moon, everything associated with something beyond ourselves. Bring your hands down. Lift your right heel. Left foot meets the right. We're back in plank. Knees can stay up or come down. Lower to or towards the mat. Elbows are skimming the body. Lift the heart. Lower down. Back to downward facing dog. From down dog, and before we come into our moon salutations, Chandra Namaskar, let's bring the knees down and toes together and come to Balasana. Come to child's pose, where we really hug the earth, right? Knees are separated, fingertips forward, forehead down, back body stretching, hips rock side to side, and the forearms on the mat. Take a few breaths here. And just notice all that is present. And the spine, right? That energy up and down the spine, this channel of energy. They call them the nadis in the practice. It's kind of, this is the central nadi, that if we think about the spine, the sushumna. One more breath. Giving ourselves time to take it in, right? And then come to your table, tuck your toes, come back to downward facing dog. And this time, let's walk the hands into the feet. Soften the knees. And remember, we started that Surya Namaskar, be in chair. Let's come back and drop the hips. Even though we added a little child's pose in there, let's come back to Utkatasana, sink the hips a little more. Feel your strength, get a little bit more heat. And then lengthen the legs, bring the hands to the heart. Breathing your intention, take in this moment. And then you'll come to the center of your mat. And if you do like to have a block handy at each end of the mat for moon salutations, sometimes it's a good idea. And you don't have to carry blocks side to side. And you don't need them, but they may come in a little handy. Step right in the center of your mat, looking at the long edge of the mat, shoulders down. Reach the arms up and over your head. Root both feet down. Big crescent shape over to the right. We're going to move through the phases of the moon, and we're going to wax and we're going to wane. So stretch over. Come back to the center. Over to the left. Root both feet down, and make sure you keep even weight as much as you can on the feet as you move through here. Good. Come back to the center. Separate your feet, toes pointing somewhat out, wide stance, drop your tailbone. This is goddess squat. Good, sink down. Associated with all aspects of nurturing, calming, gentle strength. Good, let's give it a few breaths on this first round. Nice, lift your hearts just a little bit, yeah, good. Now lengthen the legs and make a star shape. We may see some stars during the eclipse, right? Stars might come out in the middle of the day. Turn your left toes to the long edge of the mat. Turn your right toes to the short edge of the mat. Let your arms come down. Reach your rib cage to the right and tilt forward into Uttita Trikonasana. So here you can place your hand on your leg or on your block or on the mat. Nice opening across the heart. Legs are strong but not locked. So if you tend to lock your knees or any joints, put a little softness there. Open up, good. Give it another breath or two. This first round, we'll take it slow. Turn towards your right foot. Come to Parsvottanasana or pyramid. Here, if you want your block, that's where you can take your block. Nice stretch as you pull that front leg back. Head hangs down. Good. Now bend that front knee and come into a lunge. Sink down. Good. Hips are as even as they can be. And again, you can use your blocks here. Turn towards the long edge of the mat now. So my foot's still facing the short edge, coming into kind of a skandasana or a side lunge, and then like a spider just crawling over to the other side. Toes face the short edge of the mat, left toes, back heel lifts. So now we're in that lunge. So we come into the phase as we move in and out from side to side. From here, lengthen the left leg, bring the right leg in, Parsvottanasana or pyramid pose. Give it a few breaths. Bring that front hip back. That back hip forward a little bit and lift the front hip so that your pelvis is as stable as you can feel it be. Yeah. Nice. From here, turn your right toes to the long edge of the mat, and we'll come back up into Utthita Trikonasana. The left arm will just drape up the left leg as the right arm lifts up. We pull ourselves up. And I remember this was always Kevin's favorite part of Moon Salutations. So that brings back a nice memory. Shoulders down, inhale and exhale. I don't know, after class, Kevin, you'll have to tell me if it still is. From here, press your feet into the mat, reach your arms up. That big star, drop your shoulders. So like a star, yeah, emanating from all aspects. And then drop the hips, hands to your heart. Think about rotating the inner thighs up so that there's a nice external rotation here in the hips. And then bring the feet together, reach the arms up. Stretch over to the left. As we finish this first cycle, come back to the center. Stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Hands come into your heart. Close your eyes for a moment. In fact, separate your hands as if you were making space to hold the full moon between the hands. And it's not a full moon today, right? It's a new moon, but just imagining that full moon. Let your arms float down. You can open your eyes or keep them closed a little longer if you'd like. Reach the arms up and over your head. This time, crescent shape starts over to the left because we've got to come back out of this cycle. Come back to the center. And even though we're moving in a flow, just like we were with Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutations, you might notice, come back to the center and come into your squat, that with Chandra Namaskar or Moon Salutations, the energy is different. You don't even have to describe it in words, just feel that difference. Lengthen the legs, find your star. Good. Right toes turn to the long edge of the mat, left toes to the short edge of the mat, open your arms. Reach forward, soften the knees and tilt forward. Open up, shoulders away from the ears. Let's give this a couple of breaths. Good. Unlock knees if anything's getting locked. Turn towards the left leg. You can always bring your hands to a block. So we'd like the left foot a little closer to the left side, right foot a little closer to the right side so that you're not in like on a balance beam, but really more on track so that you can then create a nice neutral or neutral-ish space for the pelvis. Then bend your left knee, extend that right leg back, come into your lunge. Good. Walk towards the long edge of the mat. So first we stay low. You can stay as low or as come as high as suits you today, right? And then each time you might come a little bit lower. You're going to crawl over, face the other side of the mat, right toes turn to the short edge of the mat. Left heel is back. Heart is lifted. Good. Lengthen the right leg, pull the left leg in, Parsvottanasana, head hangs. Take a breath or two here. Good. Now turn the left toes to the long edge of the mat. The right arm's going to just flow up the right leg a little bit as the left arm reaches up and you're back in Utthita Trikonasana, shoulders away from the ears. Wiggle your toes. Good. Press your feet into the mat. Lift your upper body, come to that star shape. Good, shoulders down. Bend your knees, come into that squat. Nice. And in fact, while we're in this squat, keep your pinkies and thumbs together, but open the other fingers, opening a lotus flower at your heart, just for energy to come into. Good. Lengthen the legs, bring the feet together, reach the arms up. Stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Stretch over to the left. Come back to the center. Hands come to your heart, thumbs right at your heart center. Take a moment, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And just sense all that's at play here, right? All that's at play here. Arms come down. Reach your arms up and overhead. Stretch over to the right. You can do a nice exhale yourself over to the right. Inhale to the center. Stretch over to the left. Inhale to the center. Step into your squat. Separate the feet. No hurry, just step by step, phase by phase. Good. Lengthen the legs, reach the arms up. Turn your left toes to the short edge of the mat, left toes to the long edge of the mat, right toes to the short edge of the mat. Open your arms, reach forward, tilt forward. Stay as open as you can be. Nice. Turn towards that leg, come to pyramid. Float forward, head hangs, shoulders away from the ears. Bend your right knee, nice lunge. So just calmly moving through the phases. When you're ready, walk to the long edge of the mat. Maybe each time you get a little bit lower, or maybe you don't, right? You decide. And you're facing the opposite side in that lunge. Lengthen the left leg, pull the right leg in, Parsvottanasana, head hangs. Good. Turn the right toes to the long edge of the mat, and we come up into Utthita Trikonasana. I can see why this is the favorite part. Open up the heart. Good. Press your feet into the earth, lift yourself up. Nice big star. Each time you come into that star, notice how you're shining and what's happening. Down into your squat. Good. Feel the strength here. Take your feet in. Reach your arms up. Stretch over to the left. Come back to the center. Stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Hands to the heart. Again, energetically notice any shifts, changes. We'll go back in the other direction. Let's go right away. Reach the arms up. Stretch over to the left. Come back to the center. Notice how the breath finds its pathways. Stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Separate your feet. Sink down. Lengthen the legs. Reach up. Right toes to the long edge. Left toes to the short edge. Utthita Trikonasana. Flow down. Good. Turn towards the left leg. Parsvottanasana. Bend your left knee. Extend the right leg behind you. Walk to the long edge of the mat, maybe even a little lower. Facing the opposite side. And then lengthen both legs, coming to Parsvottanasana. Left toes to the long edge of the mat. Right arm floats or glides a little bit up the right leg as the left arm reaches up. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle. Press your feet into the mat. Reach your arms up, come to the center. Sink down into your squat. Nice. Bring the feet together. Reach the arms up. Stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Stretch over to the left. Come back to the center. Hands come to your heart. Pause for a moment. We're going to do another one of those, but before we do, I want to take a moment to kind of integrate what we've done so far. So if you have a blanket, grab your blanket. If you don't, it's okay too. If you have one, you're just going to roll it a little bit. We really want to open our hearts to this day and place it on your mat across like this. And we're going to take a break and just lie down. We're going to come to Shavasana before we continue, just to take a moment. If you have the blanket, it's going to go right under your heart, armpits above the blanket. Lower the head, open the arms, and let the soles of the feet come together. So a really open posture right here. Closing your eyes, take a moment to sense what's here. If you'd like to put your blocks under your thighs for more support here, please do that. Notice just how the breath is flowing naturally, organically. Relax the chin, the jaw, soften the eyes. And then just bring your attention to your left arm and your left knee. Inhale here. And on your exhale, take the left arm and the left knee towards the center of your body and then roll onto your right side so that the left hand comes onto the right hand, the knees come together. And then open everything back up into what we would call Supta Baddha Konasana, resting on the back. Good. Take a moment here and then come to the other side. So the right arm and the knee come up and we roll. We open. Good. On your own timing, do 2 more on each side. Just again, we integrate sun and moon energies, and now we're integrating kind of right and left side of the body energies. And the right side is associated with the sun energies, the left side associated with the moon energies. But just float here, kind of resting, kind of flowing, kind of moving. And then we'll come back to the center again. So if you're still moving, keep moving. If you've finished those rounds, you'll open and just then take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And take it all in, every aspect of yourself, the lightness, the darkness, the sun energies, the moon energies, the action and the rest, and everything else too. And then bring the feet to the mat. Roll over to either side and press yourself up. We're going to come up slowly after coming onto the back, and then we're going to come right back to standing, but we're going to make that transition slowly. So let's sit for one moment in between, right? Close your eyes. Good. We're going to do a really simple, before we get up, a really simple breath work with Nadi Shodhana breathing, alternate nostril breathing. And we're not going to use the traditional mudras. We're just going to use our index fingers. So just kind of take each finger, have each index finger at the ready. And you'll take one index finger, let's start with the left, to close off the left nostril. And when you close it off, just gently draw that finger down. Don't push your nose too much over to the right. And inhale through both nostrils, or through the right nostril. You can't inhale through both nostrils. That's what we're doing here. Inhale through the right nostril. Take your right finger to the right nostril. Exhale through the left nostril. Release that. Inhale through the left nostril. Close that off. Exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the right nostril. Close that off. Exhale through the left. And then inhale through the left. Close that off. Exhale through the right. And this is the pattern we're going to continue for another minute or two. When you get to one side, you'll exhale and then inhale through that side. Then you'll move to the other side. You might notice that one side's a little clearer than the other. At any given time, one nostril is dominant, and that may have some influence over your energy. So if you're ever noticing that the right nostril is closed and you feel a little bit calm or relaxed or not as motivated, that's because the left nostril's open at that time. And otherwise, if you feel a little wound up, sometimes that's because the right nostril helps to influence that. That's happening. So just notice. And then we can work with that. On any days that you're feeling a little bit quieter, but you would like to bring the energy up, you can just breathe in through the right nostril, out through the left, or you want to calm down, breathe in through the left nostril, out through the right. But for now, just kind of explore this side to side interaction and notice. This brings balance. What we're doing here brings balance between the sun and the moon energy. Keep the jaw relaxed. If you lose where you are, that's fine. Just begin again. Come to one side, exhale, and then inhale, and then move to the other side. The next time that you exhale through the left nostril, you can release the mudra or take your hands down if you're just using index fingers. And then inhale consciously through both nostrils. Exhale through both. And again, with awareness, inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both. And then just let the breath find its natural pace and rhythm. You can have your eyes closed or open, being breathed here for a few more moments. Blink your eyes open and closed a few times. Let out some sort of sound. And come to standing and make this transition slowly. Even though we're halfway there, make this transition slowly. And come to the center of your mat, facing the long edge of the mat. Good. Feet about hip width apart. Arms by your sides. Breathing your intention, remind yourself of your intention. And then also just reminding ourselves of honoring the darkness and the light within us and everything else as well. Reach your arms up and overhead. Crescent shape to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale to the center. Step your feet wide. Exhale, drop the tailbone, come to your squat. Inhale, lengthen the legs, come to your star. Turn your left toes to the long edge of the mat, right toes to the short edge. Exhale, tilt forward, Utthita Trikonasana. Once here, inhale again. And then exhale to pyramid. Bring your hands down. Notice what it's like after that little break. Inhale here. Exhale, bend your knee, come into your lunge. And then a couple of breaths to walk to the long edge of the mat and over until you're facing the other side. Coming into your lunge. Good. On an inhale, lengthen both legs. Come to pyramid. Exhale here. Turn your right toes to the long edge of the mat. On your next inhale, lift yourself up into triangle. Exhale to your star. Inhale here. Exhale, sink down. Yep. Inhale, feet come together. Reach the arms up. Stretch over to the left. Inhale to the center. Over to the right. Inhale to the center. Hands come into the heart. Pause here. Close your eyes. It's in the movement and the spaces between movements, right, that the practice happens, not just when we're moving. Reach your arms down and then lift them back up. Last round, stretch over to the left. Inhale to the center. Stretch over to the right. Inhale to the center. Separate your feet. On your exhale, sink your hips down. On the inhale, lengthen the legs, come to your star. Turn your right toes to the short edge of the mat, left toes, right toes to the long edge, left to the short. Reach the arms out on an exhale, tilt down. You know where you're going by now. Inhale. Exhale, turn towards the left leg, Parsvottanasana. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knee, extend the leg back. Walk to the long edge of the mat until you're facing the short edge of the mat. And this time on an inhale, come to your pyramid. And then exhale. And on the inhale, lift yourself up to Utthita Trikonasana, left arm reaches up. And on your exhale, come up to the star. Inhale here. And then on your exhale, sink down to your squat. Feel that strength in your legs from here, right? We've been doing this a lot. Bring the feet together, reach the arms up. And stretch over to the right. Come back to the center. Stretch over to the left. Come back to the center and bring your hands to your heart and just kind of feel and sense this energy of the moon here in this moment throughout the body. Right? Moon associated with the mind and emotions. And then step once again to the top of your mat. Let's bring the energy back. So now the moon's passed over the face of the sun and the sun is back. Reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Right foot comes back. Drop your knee down, lift the upper body. Different energy, right? Exhale, bring the hands down. Lift your right knee, left foot meets your right. Let's hold this for 3. Light the fire in your belly. Bring your knees down. Elbows hug you, lower the heart. Roll the shoulders and then lift the heart. Maybe cobra, maybe upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Look between the hands. Take your right foot between the hands. Lower your left knee down. Reach your arms up. Bring your hands down. Lift your back knee. Take your weight to the front foot. Bring the back foot in. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Press your feet into the earth. Reach the arms up and over your head. Bring the hands into the heart and pause for a moment. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Keeping them open if that's preferable. Whatever you need, right? Feel your feet and almost like roots are growing from your feet deep into the earth. Feel the crown of the head reaching for the sky. Feel that energy between the earth and the sky coursing up and down the spine. And just kind of considering the trees that root down into the earth and then reach for the heavens, right? Let's find Vrikshasana just to see how we can rebalance and just feel that balance today. Open up your left knee. So you'll bring your knee in front of you, lifting the heel, open up the left knee, and just take the left foot somewhere on the right leg, wherever you want. And push the foot into the leg and push the leg into the foot. So feel yourself rooted, balanced, and then lifted. Reach the arms up. Maybe just imagine that you are a tree today. You're just hanging out, thinking it's going to be a usual day. Then night comes in the middle of the day. You're still here. You're not doing anything too different, right? But you're experiencing that, right? And then the light comes back. You're still here. And then root the left foot down, hands to your heart. Pause for a moment before we come to the other side. Shift your weight to the left foot, lift your right heel, and open up your right knee. And find that place on the left leg with the right foot. So press your foot into the leg into the foot, root down, lift up. Reach for all that is below us by rooting down, all that is above us. Here we are in the center, all that is within us and around us. Drop your shoulders a little bit. Yeah. And then bring everything back in, hands to your shoulders down, arms by your sides. Step to the top of the mat and reach your arms up once more, reaching up. Soften the knees, fold forward, crouch down. Take your feet back, bring your knees down, and find Balasana again, child's pose. So sometimes when these astonishing things happen, like what's going to happen today, we can feel a little ungrounded. So here, Balasana, child's pose, a very grounding posture to just regroup. We can regroup here even as all of the whole spectrum of emotions and experiences flow through us, right? And we can be here grounded and present. You can have your knees separated or you can bring your knees fairly close together. It's up to you. Let your forehead rest on something, maybe the mat, maybe your hands, and roll your forehead side to side. And then lengthen your body on the mat and come onto your back. And set yourself up. I'm going to guide you through a little bit of inquiry, but set yourself up for Shavasana, right? So if you like your blanket under your knees or even over you or any other props that you want, set yourself up for this integration time, this time of not doing anything. Make sure that you're comfortable and that you are warm enough or cool enough. Let your eyes close if that's comfortable for you. Keep them open if that's more helpful today. And feel the earth underneath you and let your body sink into the support that you are resting on. And as you sink into the support that you are resting on, notice also that the breath is breathing you. You don't have to do anything for the breath to breathe you. So throughout this time, just allow yourself to be breathed by the breath. And feeling again that heaviness as the body floats or sinks down into the support of the earth. And even as the back of the body sinks down, can you take your attention to the front of the body and imagine the front of the body floating away from the earth? So letting yourself experiencing these dualities, these two types of energy at once, the sinking, the heaviness, and the lightness and the floating. And there may be certain places that you can feel this, maybe some others where it's not as apparent, but inviting heaviness and lightness at the same time. Heaviness and lightness at the same time. And if it's challenging to feel both at once, you might first sense the heaviness and then the lightness and move back and forth a bit before inviting yourself to feel both at the same time. And then when you'd like, just release that inquiry. And just imagine in your mind's eye that you are gazing towards the sun, sensing the brightness, sensing the warmth, and then sensing the moon moving across the sky, beginning to obscure the sun as we come into this syzygy, right? All of the lining up of the planets. And sensing and feeling that darkness that comes across the face of the sun, maybe a cooling of the temperature, until the sun is obscuring all except for the border. The moon is obscuring all except for the border of the sun. Bathed in darkness, aware of darkness. And the darkness begins to move away as the moon comes to the other side and the light begins to become apparent again, till you sense the glow and the warmth once again and the light returns. You experience that light permeating the entire physical body. A sense of renewal, a sense of freshness, while still maintaining that appreciation of darkness and light, really needing each other to even be here. Let yourself rest for another moment or two, just inviting all that is present now. All that is present now. And then all that is always present, resting as being, the energy that is always within you. And beginning now to reawaken to this moment. Feeling the floor underneath you and the air on your skin, so that firmness and that lightness again. Wiggling fingers and toes, circling the hands, circling the feet. And reach your arms up and over your head, so reach the arms up. Stretch long, and on your exhale, hug the knees in and rock a little bit side to side. Roll over to one side, make a pillow for your head with your hands and rest here. Just be here, aware of all that is here. Inviting yourself to be open to all that meets you throughout the day as you press yourself to a seated position. Letting the hands come together in front of the heart, holding some orb of energy. You might imagine that it's the sun for a moment. Maybe then it moves to be the moon. Maybe it's the eclipsed sun. Whatever you can imagine, hold that in your hand. And then draw the hands together at the heart thumbs to your heart center. Thanking yourself for beginning this day in this way, or ending the day in this way if you're listening to the recording. But honoring these forces today, aware of nature and the power around us, right? Now let's vibrate the sound of Om. We'll do it together and make the sound if you'd like, or you can vibrate once again quietly. Inhale deeply.